Welcome to BaseballGuys.com. I'm Ray Flowers. As you can tell from my Giants hat, there's a Giant player in the news, and it's in a way that the Giants probably aren't very happy about. Tim Lincecum, the best pitcher arguably in baseball, the winner of 2 Cy Young Awards in his first 2 seasons in the big leagues, first 2 full seasons that is, submitted a figure of $13 million in the arbitration process, and the Giants countered with $8 million. Now, there's no one in the game that thinks the Giants are going to win this deal. Thought being that therefore they would try to agree to something in the middle, maybe $11.5 million, allow Lincecum to set a record for a player eligible for arbitration for the first time, but still below the $13 million he submitted. That doesn't appear to be happening. Apparently the Giants are reluctant to offer anything more than a 2-year deal to Tim Lincecum, possibly concerned that he's lost a couple miles an hour off his fastball, concerned about the big workload and the fact that there's some people that worry about the mechanics being that he's a little guy. Lincecum and his representatives apparently aren't very happy. That's not something the Giants can afford. They can't afford to alienate the face of their franchise. It appears, common sense for Lincecum to be signed to a long-term deal, at least a 4-year deal to eat up his arbitration-eligible seasons that still remain. No reason to think he's going to break down. He's never had arm problems at any point in his career, going all the way back to childhood. So hopefully the Giants will wise up and offer him a deal beyond the 2 seasons they're currently offering. If not, and they have to go to this arbitration process, which seems more and more likely each day, look for the Giants to have to shell out a record $13 million to Tim Lincecum in 2010. Erik Bedard, a pitcher on the other end of the spectrum in that he's never healthy. What he's going to do this year, what he's going to have to offer this season, is still highly debatable. He had another shoulder operation. It was hoped he'd be ready early in the season. Now it appears almost certain he'll miss April, possibly all of May as well, before that shoulder is to a point where he'll be able to appear in a major league game. Therefore, he's going to have to sign an incentive-laden deal with someone. The hot rumor making the rounds on the internet today is that Bedard will rejoin or stay with the Mariners for the 2010 season. We'll see how that plays out for the lefty who can be dominating when healthy and on the mound. We just haven't seen that enough the past couple seasons. Adrian Gonzalez, the big bopper in San Diego, 40 home run bat who plays first base, is on a 2-year deal, actually has 2 years left on his deal, paying him just slightly more than $10 million. An extreme bargain for a hitter with that power, a middle-of-the-order presence that basically any team in baseball would love to have. Given that salary, he's a huge, huge piece in the trade market for everyone basically in the world of baseball, because the Padres have pretty much admitted they're not going to be able to extend him to a deal. They're simply not going to be able to pay $15 million to anyone on their roster. Therefore, do the Padres trade Gonzalez this year or next year? Conventional wisdom would be trade him this year. That way you get him the opportunity to affect 2 playoff races, both in 2010 and 2011. That probably increases the amount of prospects and trade players you can get in a trade for him. Look for the Padres to possibly move him somewhere around midseason. It remains to be seen where he will go. It remains to be seen what he will get. But the Padres will get a bounty in return for a player who's a solid middle-of-the-order bat, 40 home run power, barely making $5 million over the next 2 seasons. Joba Chamberlain, a hurler out with the Yankees, there's a little bit of debate about what to do with him. He was terrific out of the bullpen. He moved into the starting rotation last year. The Yankees had all kinds of Joba rules with him, limiting his innings pitch total, etc. Really took a toll on him in the second half when they kind of jerked him around a lot. His performance really waned over the past 10 or so appearances last year. This season, he's going into camp thinking he's going to be a starter. There's a line of thought that they would be beneficial to move him back into that setup role in front of Mariano Rivera, the role that Philip Hughes filled so aptly last year. Some people now think Hughes would be a good player to move into the starting rotation. For me, I'd leave Hughes where he was in the bullpen, successful, setting up for Rivera. I'd give Chamberlain the chance to do what he can do, which is be a dominating starting pitcher. People forget, this pitcher's not even 25 years old yet. He has basically one season of starting experience in the big league level. Give him some time. He can still be a really special arm for the Yankees. Russell Branyan. Rumors were that he might be going to the Marlins on a 1-year deal. Turns out those rumors have been refuted by some people in the know down in southern Florida. Branyan hit 31 home runs last year, was a great season, first time in his career he ever was given basically a full-time role, and for the Mariners he excelled in that role, providing the power that everyone knew he had. Of course, there are strikeouts, and yes, there's some concern about his ability to repeat what he did last year, but when on the field he was very productive. Lots of concern this season about that back of his, as well as the fact that last season might have been a career year, has led to a down market for Branyan. He's still looking for a club. He's still holding out for a place where he can make a lot of money, as well as get an opportunity to play every day. Don't know if he's going to be able to find that before the 2010 season starts. And then finally, up north in Toronto, we've got a situation brewing here. The Blue Jays brought in Kevin Gregg to help out their bullpen. In so doing, it's now thrown the ninth inning into a bit of a free-for-all, if you will. Gregg is probably the favorite to close in the 9th inning, but there's also Frazier there. There's also Downs there. Some thought that Downs might be moved into the starting rotation to give him an opportunity to excel. We'll have to wait and see how this situation plays out. But at this point, no matter who the situation goes to in the 9th inning, if you have Gregg, Frazier, and Downs as your 7th, 8th, and 9th inning guys, you got a real lockdown threesome that could really help close out some ball games for the Blue Jays. Again, I'm Ray Flowers. It's baseballguys.com. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon.